Good morning, welcome to a new market update as Bitcoin is breaking through 50k. Yesterday we had one big test of 50k, failed to break through, then we had some crucial levels that we had to hold, and currently we are trying to break to 50k again. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as that is important for me to grow this audience. If you do that, thank you very much. And you can see the rest of the content as well and get notified if I post a new YouTube video. The higher time frame chart for Bitcoin is showing a very massive move. It's showing that we still have much more to gain as well, and which shows that the 2017 Bitcoin bubble is just a minimal one, as we are currently in the real big super cycle. So the 3-day chart doesn't show much important information, regardless of the fact that we are in a bull cycle, and we most likely are not going to drop below 30k again, as that is the recent low. And in order to sustain the bullish momentum, you don't want to break through any of these recent lows, especially given the construction that we have here. So neither the lows broke beneath the other one. So in this case, we just continue to make higher lows, and in this case, the 30k is the recent higher low, so most likely we are not going to drop below that range. The daily time frame is looking a little bit odd, a nice grind upwards, which is still a little bit edgy, and we're going to discuss that in a few minutes, but we're grinding up, and that is fine. If the 44k level is lost, I'm going to look around the 38k level again. For our chart, what we're looking at right now is quite similar to what we have been discussing previously. So we still keep on grinding, making new higher lows, new higher highs, broke the rising wedge to the upside, and we kept holding the critical levels. So in this case, the critical level changed a little. In this case, I would prefer to hold this level here between 47.5 to 48.4 for support. If that sustains support, we most likely continue grinding, and then the target zones that I have described, 53k and 63k, are very likely to be hit. If this 47.5 to 48.2 level is lost, I'm assuming we're going to have a further drop down, and the first area that I'm going to look at is this 44k zone. If that 44k zone is hit, you're going to watch whether this previous resistance zone becomes resistance again, and then we might be continuing downwards with some further tests there. However, as we just discussed, if this range low supports or holds support between 47.5 to 48.3, we can continue grinding, and we can define new target levels at 53k, and we've got another one at 63k here. So that is basically the view on Bitcoin at this point. Nice grind upwards, but what we can see is that it's pushing the altcoins down in their Bitcoin value, which is grinding the Bitcoin dominance upwards. So we have discussed Ethereum a little in the previous updates, in which we said, okay, we had a nice run, we are making higher lows, we are making higher highs. So what we see here is higher lows, a nice trend, we see higher highs, trend continuation, and after this drop down here, we see a corrective move on Ethereum. And during the correction of Bitcoin, or the rejection of Bitcoin yesterday, Ethereum also corrected in the Bitcoin pair. So that is something that's quite new, and I did not see that until yesterday, is that if Bitcoin starts to correct, most likely altcoins will correct more. So the level to watch for Ethereum is this zone here, between 0295 to 0232 Satoshi. If that holds, we get another higher low. Basically, you don't want to see it drop below 0.25 sats. But if we get in those regions, I'm eager to look for a new long entry on Ethereum. And I'm eager to suspect that if you just zoom out and use this chart, we're going to make a big breaker later on in this year. So we see this corrective move on Ethereum. If this gray zone holds, the summer will be crazy, in which Ethereum is going to break through this zone here or even higher and maybe get to 4 to 5k. What do we see on dominance chart? We do see a bottoming construction. We have been discussing this on the live stream as well. The top of the dominance chart frequently happens in December, after which a deep correction or drop down on the dominance happens. And then in February, usually a corrective period to the upside happens, through which altcoins retest their previous levels for support. And then there are two scenarios. One is Bitcoin is going to run heavily, through which altcoins drop in their Bitcoin pair. Second, Bitcoin corrects and altcoins correct more. And currently we see Bitcoin running upwards, causing altcoins to drop in their Bitcoin pair. So what we see in this case is here in February started to run up, and in February we most likely are going to run up here. Those corrections take time. So it might be taking 3 to 4 to 5 weeks before we get into this area here for the dominance chart of Bitcoin. That is going to be the moment you want to be exposing yourself heavily towards altcoins again. And now they start drilling, which is amazing. So therefore we could see further continuation of the altcoins drop down if Bitcoin starts to run heavily upwards. I have to cut the video for today, but I hope you have enjoyed this small update, and I'll be back tomorrow with a longer version without this drilling.